Hello there, people of the internet. We are out here at the gun range today. This is a public gun range. You might hear some gunfire in the background, and well, there's probably going to be some wind noise. Looks like we got some weather coming in. I do apologize for that. I'm out here with a couple of different firearms, and one thing that I do have with me is my 380 ACP handgun. This is a Taurus Spectrum. You guys have seen this on the channel a couple of times. This is something that I carry with me on occasion if I don't feel like putting on an actual belt and holster. This is my little pocket gun. I got a pocket holster that I use with this thing. It's good enough to be better than nothing. Definitely not my personal go-to, but if I'm just going to the store for, I don't know, something, or I'm going to put gas in the car, or I'm going to the beach, or I got sweatpants on, basketball shorts, something like that, something that is less indicative of putting on an actual belt with an actual handgun, and more I'd rather have this because it's a better form of self-protection than having absolutely nothing. This right here is something that I'm actually fairly competent with. I can make shots with this particular handgun out at some pretty good distances. Not only that, but I feel comfortable with the reliability of this handgun. I've got several magazines for this handgun. This is chambered in 380 ACP. So it is not a powerhouse of a cartridge, but it comes to the point where I have to ask myself, is 380 ACP good enough of a cartridge for getting whatever job it is that you need done to be done? So the big issue with arguments like this is we're so used to asking these different questions, but the reality is that it is significantly more obsolete well, I don't want to say obsolete. It's a antiquated question nowadays, because modern manufacturing, we have modern gunpowders and modern bullet projectile styles that are dramatically more powerful and more capable than the bullet styles and whatnot that were being used in previous generations. Like 380 ACP, if we're talking just standard regular ball ammunition, no, I really would not trust that stuff at all, honestly, which is what I have loaded into the magazine of this handgun for representation purposes. However, I do have some specialized defensive 380 ACP ammunition, which I have seen with my own eyes go through ballistic gel and be incredibly effective through that ballistic gel. I've also seen people with my own eyes use that particular defensive loading of 380 ACP from a little tiny handgun like this to take out boar here in the state of Florida. So it is definitely a capable round. The big problem with defensive 380 ACP ammunition is a bullet has to go at a certain velocity to get reliable expansion, and you want that expansion to be able to dump energy onto your target effectively. Well, 380 ACP just does not go at velocities that create reliable expansion. So the next best thing is to create a tumble upon impact round, and that is what I use for my defensive ammo with this 380 ACP round. It looks kind of like a Full Metal Jacket, but definitely has different curvatures to it, and it's designed to tumble whenever it smacks into something. So you get that tumbling of the round, that increased surface area, and that dramatically increases the amount of energy that is dumped onto a target in comparison to something like Full Metal Jacket or a hollow point that did not have enough ass behind it to be able to adequately expand. So all that being said, certain kinds of 380 ACP ammunition, oh dude, they perform exceptionally well, extremely well. But if we're talking about 380 ACP ammunition, which is the vast majority of 380 that is out there on the market, most of it is going to perform like Full Metal Jackets, even the hollow point defensive rounds, simply because they're just not going to adequately expand. So we're going to be focusing on 380 Full Metal Jackets, because even if it is 380 defensive, then it's not going to adequately expand, and you're just going to get the effectiveness of a Full Metal Jacket round. If you have something like the tumble-along impact rounds and you compare it to something like a Full Metal Jacket 9mm, which a lot of people believe is more than adequate enough for defending yourself, then that tumble upon impact round from the 380, since it tumbles inside of the body, it transmits significantly more energy than just the 9mm, which the 9mm Full Metal Jacket, which will just kind of poke a pinhole through someone. Now you start getting into 9mm defensive loads, which adequately expand upon impact with their target, and that's a completely different argument. There are definitely versions of 9mm out there that are going to absolutely put 380 ACP into the dust. But a lot of people think that 380 is this completely underpowered, incapable round for self-defense. And it's definitely powerful enough to be able to put someone into the dirt. Speaking of dirt, I will go ahead and I will shoot the mud right here. Not really that indicative of a good test, but at least it will show what kind of power we're dealing with this 380 ACP. So yeah, if that was a chest cavity, that would definitely be quite a bit of energy onto your target. Now granted, these are full metal jackets, so we're not getting that immediate dump of energy onto your target, but a full magazine of that right there should still be able to put something into the dirt. Now, of course, if they are wearing something like body armor or something like that, then the difference in power and capability is just like between handguns is just not going to be enough to be able to matter. So 380, we got ourselves a what do you call those? It's like that orange thing that you see on the side of the road. We got that out there about 25 or so yards. 380 ACP from a handgun like this, definitely able to make those shots. There's one shot, there's two shots. Those right there do look like they hit a little bit low. I think that this handgun hits a little bit low actually. And it was not a full magazine. I'm practicing ammo conservation. But anyone who fires a 380 ACP, there's definitely some girth behind it, definitely some ass. But the projectiles that you fire from the 380 ACP matter significantly more than the fact that you're firing a 380 ACP. There's things out there that just dump so much more energy onto your target than others, despite the fact that they are the same round, same caliber, same cartridge, same everything. So that all being said, there are plenty of people out there who will tell me that 380 ACP is not adequate enough for defensive purposes, and then with the same breath, they'll tell me something like 22 long rifle is the deadliest cartridge in the planet, and more people have been killed with 22 long rifle than any other cartridge, but nobody has been able to show me any hard facts or data on that being the case. Definitely seen I've definitely seen plenty of ruthless damage done with 22 long rifle, but it's a 40 grain bullet from a barrel length like this. It's probably going about 800 or so feet per second. It's just not that powerful of a round. Yeah, that I just shot the dirt. I think it was nowhere even close to the amount of energy transfer of 380 ACP. Granted, it is definitely accurate. Like if I'm shooting out at that orange thing that I was shooting a 380 ACP at, we're definitely making our hits on target, and 22 long rifle is definitely powerful enough to stop somebody in their tracks with proper shot placement. Okay, I'm kind of having fun with my 22 long rifle now, but it's definitely a cartridge that I don't want to harp on, and I definitely don't want to get shot by. But that being said, the 380 ACP just has significantly more energy to transfer, bigger bullet. I believe it's actually traveling faster as well. I'll have to double check on that, what the velocities of 380 ACP ammunition are. But I do know that the projectile matters a lot more than the round that you're actually shooting. All the cartridge itself is the delivery system. What matters is that bullet and how it affects its target. Now, if we bump up to something like, say, 45 ACP, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to go, oh, hell yeah, 45 ACP, God's caliber. Now, that's some power. You're right, 45 ACP is some power. This is a 230 grain bullet traveling at about 850 feet per second, if memory serves me correctly, from this 1911. So, the big problem with... Hold on a second here. I had some dirt on my lip, probably from whenever I was shooting the mud. The big problem with 45 ACP is a lot of people can't effectively shoot it because it has a lot of recoil behind it. This right here is one of those cartridges that if you can shoot it effectively, fantastic, go for it. But if you can't shoot it effectively, you can't make your shots properly on target, like it doesn't matter how many rounds that you put down range at your target if none of them actually hit. It doesn't matter how powerful the cartridge is. Speaking of power, let's go ahead and shoot the dirt again. We shot it with everything else, may as well hit it with a 45. yeah, that's definitely a lot more power than both 22 long rifle and 380 ACP. But if you can't make your hits on target, then it doesn't matter how powerful of a handgun you have, doesn't matter how powerful of a cartridge you have. If all you can shoot is a 22 long rifle because you're, I don't know, elderly with arthritis or something like that, then get yourself a 22 long rifle. Don't go out and get a 45 ACP because you'll never be able to accurately hit your target. Now, 380, this right here, even in this tiny little package, has significantly less recoil than even 9mm. I can make very comfortable, accurate shots with this thing on target pretty gosh darn quickly. Not only that, but it's a small little handgun, very easy to conceal, very easy to insert your choice of CCW consideration here. It's just a really good carry option as long as it's reliable. It's got to be something that you can trust your life to. I like the double action on it. I feel very comfortable carrying around in the chamber on this thing, especially because there's no cocked striker system that is ready to go off. Like in this right here, since it's double action, whenever you pull that trigger, that cocks the gun for you. So you don't have to worry about anything under spring tension in this right here that suddenly breaks or something and goes off and sets off the gun, and now you have a bullet in your leg. That's one of the big issues that I have with striker fire single action handguns like that. Anyway, folks, that's my 2 cents on 380. Yeah, it is absolutely adequate for defensive purposes if you use the right projectiles. There are some projectiles out there that are more adequate than others, but if you have yourself a self-loading handgun like this, 6 rounds of proper defensive 380 ACP ammunition into somebody at point-blank range, that is more than likely going to stop the threat. And if it does not stop the threat, then you should have the ability to reload. I definitely advocate that people carry spare magazines with them. I'm always telling people, hey, you need to carry more ammunition. I don't care how much it is that you actually have. You should carry more ammunition. We have seen plenty of instances where more ammunition is needed. The world is scary, and we have no idea what might be popping up in the future. But for like 95% of the situations, something like this would be adequate enough to be able to stop threats and stop problems. It is a good personal protection handgun and a good personal protection caliber. Now, I'm not telling you to go to war with the thing, but for protective purposes, for personal protection, it's definitely good enough. Okay, that's just my 2 cents on it. If you disagree, then by all means, feel free to disagree. Let me know in the comments what an idiot I am, etc., etc. Thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. God, did I read that right? Oh God, it's already almost 3 o'clock. I will see you guys on the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.